Hey everybody, what's up? It's Scott the Frozen Gamer, and today I'm continuing my top 100 games of all time. Woohoo! Today we're on 80 through 71. Yes, we're getting slowly working our way up there. And we're gonna just start it off right away. And number 80 is Xylotar. So this game I got, I actually reached out to Bezier Games to review their newly published game, Blueprints of Mad King Ludwig. And they said, can you review this game as well? And I was like, sure, because it was my first time ever reaching out to a publisher and reviewing a game, so of course I'll review any game that you send me. So they send me this game, and I look at it, I'm like, sweet, look at this cover. That's like, this is weird and cool and whatever. So I'm like, yeah, awesome. And then I read the rules, and I'm like, oh, the theme's not really there that much. Of this polar bear playing a Xylotar, and I don't think the game's gonna work because it's kind of crazy. And then I played it, and I was totally wrong. Well, the theme is still not quite there. It's kind of pasted on a bit. It could have been a piano. It could have just easily been a piano for the theme, but they added this cool polar bear with 80s laser graphics going on, and the game actually works. So this is by Chris Ray, one of my favorite trick-taking designers, and published by Bezier Games. And so how the game plays is you're gonna get a handful of cards. I think it's 15 cards, and they look like this, like little piano keys, or Xylotar keys, I guess. And when you look at them, each card is gonna tell you a range of what the card might be, so 0 to 9. So what you do is actually you look at the back side and you put all the cards in order from lowest to highest. Then once you have all of the cards from lowest to highest, you pass that to the player to your left. So they get to see it. They don't get to see what the cards they actually have. They only get to see this. And then they lay them down in front of them. And then you play a trick-taking game, just a very typical must-follow trick-taking game with trump suits, and you just play a normal trick-taking game. Except when you play a card, you don't know exactly what you're playing. It's almost like Bomb Busters, where you kind of know the information by where these are all laid out, but you don't know it for sure. So you're kind of playing a little blind, but with a bit of logic as well. So this one I know is a 0 to 10, but it was towards the beginning of my deck, so it's probably not a 8, 9, or 10. It's probably closer to the 1, 2, 3, 4, and in fact, it's a 4. I play it down, it's a red 4. Now everyone has to follow with the red 4, or follow the red suit and try to win the trick. The other thing that's interesting in the game, besides that, which is very interesting in itself, is that you have to bid in the game of how many tricks you think you're going to win. So how you bid is you take 2 adjacent cards at any time on your turn. So on any of your turns during the round, you can take 2 adjacent cards and look at them. And then you pick one of them, and that's how many bids you're going to win. You think you're going to win this round, or your target is to win this round. This is really cool because, first of all, it gives you a decision of when are you going to look at those 2 cards. Are you going to look at 2 cards early on so that you have a good chance of planning of how many tricks you're going to try to win? So maybe I flip over a 3 and a 6. Well, I don't think I'm going to win 6 tricks, so I think I'll try to go for 3 tricks. And now I can really work towards that. And once I hit 3, I can really stop trying to win tricks. Or am I going to wait until later in the hand and see if, I might only have like 5 cards left in my display of my Xylotar cards, and I take 2 of them. Well, maybe it's a 2 and a 5. Maybe I already have, the good side is I already know how many tricks I've won at this point. But the bad side is maybe I've already won 3 tricks and I just grabbed a 2. So now I have to go to 5, but I have to win 2 of the last 4 tricks left in the game, right? So it makes it a little harder to get it, but you have more information based off of how many tricks you've already done. The other good thing is you get to see 2 of your cards in your hand and where they are. They have to be adjacent to each other, but you kind of know 2 cards, and then you can kind of use your logic a little bit more of trying to figure out what the rest of the cards are. This game actually works. It sounds like it wouldn't, but it actually works. I love the theme of the polar bear playing the Xylotar, even though, again, it's just little piano keys, basically. But totally smitten with this game. It is so fun. It's just a great trick taker, one of my favorites right now, and that's Xylotar. and it is rated a 6.9 out of 648 ratings on BGG and ranked 4,603 overall, but it is my number 80. So I love trick-taking games. I've played them since I was a kid. I love designing them as well, and I've played a lot of trick-taking games. So this next one, number 79, is my highest rating trick-taking game, and that is The 6 of 8 by Carol LaGrue. This version is published by New Mill Games. I'm just going to give a quick shout out to a couple other trick-taking games that I love. This is On Stage, also known as like Suodeng, Songden. It's a Vietnamese game. It's coming out in the Dice Tower Essentials line, but this is a copy I imported from Vietnam. And this is a great stage version trick taker. I just have only played this with family, with kids, so I didn't get like a full experience, and I multi-handed soloed it. So I need to get, so I left it off my list this year. I want to get this played with actual gamers, actual adults, like all adults, and see how it plays, and play the team variant, because I've heard that's kind of the best, and I've only played it solo, and I loved it, not solo, but individual, and I loved it that way, so I really need to try the team version of it, and it is absolutely stunning. And then the other game is my own. This is probably my favorite trick-taking game. Why? Because I designed it for myself. This is called Making Friends on the First Day of School. It's a very unique trick-taking game of making friends on your first day of school, and it is a game where you kind of start off easy and then you add a rule every round. It's kind of like how Jaws of the Lion worked for Gloomhaven. But this is in trick-taking version until it gets very complex at the end on round 4. So I wanted to be a little humble and not include my own game. I'm being not humble here, though, by talking about my own game. But let's get to actual number 79, and that's the 6 of 8. So the theme of the 6 of 8 is the 6 wives of King Henry VIII. And what you're going to do in the game is you're going to play, again, a pretty normal trick-taking game with must follow and a trump suit. However, the trump suit is determined by this set of cards that will always play out the same way every time. So you'll start with black, which is Catherine of Aragon, down to Anne Boleyn was the red, then Jane Seymour, and so on until you get to the last wife of Henry VIII. And the length that their tricks is by how long they lasted in reign as the queen before King Henry VIII divorced or killed him or whatever he did to all of his wives. Why do I like this game so much? Well, one, this moving through the queens and through what is going to be the trump suit. Each one of these is the trump suit for every round. And that seems like really easy to game that. But it's actually, for me, it's a bit of a brain burner there, trying to figure out when I should play like my trump suits. Like, let's say I've got these Jane Seymour orange cards in my hand that I think I can win with. But do I play them when they're trump? Do I play them earlier when they're not trump? Or like, do I hang on to them? It's just really hard to figure that out. And even when you do have it figured out, it like doesn't always work out the way that you want it to. So that is one thing I love about it. The other thing is it is a partnership game. So you're playing with a partner as well. So what the scoring is really works really well too, because you'll get a point for every trick you won, but then some of the cards have these diamonds on them. So this card's worth 3 points more for these diamonds that are on it. So you collect all of your points for tricks, but then you collect all of your diamonds as well. So you're not always trying to win every trick. You're just trying to win the tricks that give you a lot of points. There's some special cards in the 6 of 8 as well. There's cards where they're like the black suit, but if a red suit is led, you can play it as a 13, and the reverse, there's a red suit for Anne Boleyn, but if you play it as if a black Aragon is played, then you can play it as a 13 black. There is a king that beats any card, basically. It's just the highest card in the game. So if you have the king, it will always win if you want it to. And then for whoever's losing after the first round, and you can't play it during the Aragon phase, you can't play it during the black rounds because the Church of England hadn't been created yet, but there's this Church of England card. This goes to whoever is losing after each round of the game, and they can play it after a whole trick is played. They can play it, and it nullifies that trick. So if your opponents just took a trick that has like 5 diamonds on it, you might want to play this and it will nullify the trick. No one gets the points for that trick. It just goes aside and you just keep playing on. So it's a little bit of a catch-up mechanism, so the other team won't run away. But it's really cool. It works really well. And sometimes you'll get rid of a trick. It's coming down to the end and there's like a trick that has like 3 diamonds. Should I get rid of it? Should I not? There's not many hands left. Yeah, let's get rid of that trick. And then the next one gets like 5 diamonds and you're like, oh no. But it's a really cool card that is added to the game as well. That is, gotta get the box here, the 6 of 8. And this is coming, it's being reprinted by 25th Century in a nice, shiny, fancy new edition. I like my old school new mill box of it though, so I stayed with that. And it comes with a cute little crown for the track marker. 6 of 8, my number 79. Let's look at some stats here real quick. 6 of 8 got a 7.3 rating out of 247 ratings on BGG and is currently ranked 6,866, but it is my number 79. So we're switching from little trick-taking games to a big old honking game. This is number 78 and it is Apiary. Woo! There we go. It's by Connie Vogelman and published by Stonemaier Games. So what is Apiary? It's Space Bees, baby. Art, the amazing art is by Kwanchai Moria. The actual game box, the board and stuff actually looks really good too. Not only just the cover, the whole thing looks really good. And there is a 3D queen bee in it that I painted and it looks awesome. Actually, why don't I show that little guy off? So here is my queen bee. Woo. And that just makes the game look even a little bit better. So I have a love-hate relationship with worker placement games. I love the idea of worker placement games, and usually they leave me a little underwhelmed when I'm done playing them. I really, I wanted to love The Pursuit of Happiness, and that one, I just didn't. I just didn't love it. I thought it was good, but not, great. It was just it was long and it just kind of left me meh. Apiary is long too, but this one just made me, my brain was working the entire time. I was constantly thinking during the game. It has this cool worker placement aspect, what the catch in, there's always a twist to trick-taking games, right? Well, there's always a twist to worker placement games too, and it's how do the workers work in the game. So this one, you'll put out these cool little worker bees, and you can see that they have numbers on them. So there's a 1 there, and then 2, 3, and up to 4. And so they will level up and they'll get stronger and stronger every time they level up. How do they level up? It's when another player puts their bee in the same spot as you or yourself, and it bumps your bee that was currently there out of the game, or off that spot, not out of the game, but off that spot, and it will level up. As they level up, the bees become stronger and you get better things as you do your worker placements. Up to 4, where you even get special bonuses on your turn when you use a level 4 worker bee. After level 4 happens, they go hibernate and they go away. And you have to re-get them all over again. There's a cool aspect where you're building out this little hive colony here, as you can see, and you're building out and building on top of it, getting you bonuses as you build on it and victory points, and they're all slightly different. So each, this is the Poppleton and Poppleton, and there's other ones as well, and each one's unique for its own and kind of gives you a strategy of how to play based off of what's on there. It kind of tells you what you're kind of going for. So there's all different bee factions that you'll be as well, no pun intended with the bees. But the game is just really good. It's really thinky. It's a really thinky worker placement game. As I said, my brain is just constantly working as I play it. Thematically, it works really well. I know people are like, well, why can't it just be bees? Why does it have to be space bees? Well, 1, space bees are more fun than just regular bees. And 2, the theme just works with them. Everything works about it. It could have worked just with regular bees too, but also there was 2 bee games that came out shortly before this one, Honey Buzz, and I think it was just called Beez. And so there's not a game about space bees, so let's just be happy with the space bees. And I like it better that way. So for me, it works. And yeah, it's just a great worker placement game if you like that. As you know, Stonemaier Games rarely ever lets anyone down with their games. They're just always top notch. Quality games. I don't always love every Stonemaier game, but the quality of them is always there. The gameplay, the design, everything that they fine tune in the game always works really well. It's just a matter if you like that game or not. And for me, This one, Apiary, is one that I like a lot. The stats on Apiary are, it has a 7.7 rating out of 8.8 thousand people that rated it, and it's currently ranked 313th overall on BGG. For me, it is my number 78. Just to go back real quick, the 6 of 8 and Apiary, brand new to my list this year. They were never on my list before. Coming in at 77 is another game that is brand new to my list, as I just played it this first time this past winter in December, and that is 23 Knives, and this is by Tyler J. Brown, and Play to Z Games is the publisher. This is a social deduction hidden role style game, and for the most part, like, I'll have a few on my list. You'll see a handful more, but I don't play a ton of social deduction games anymore because of Blood on the Clock Tower there. It just kind of killed all of them for me. Spoilers. But this one is one that was unique enough that I still really, really enjoyed it when I played it. So there is 3 teams in this game. You're either a liberator that is trying to get Caesar out of Rome. You're either a loyalist to Caesar, or you're an opportunist that's waiting to decide what side you're playing till the very end of the game. And what you're doing over the game is you're moving around a board and like moving your character onto different parts of the board, and you're trying to manipulate, there's this little staircase, and you're trying to get cards on the staircase that are either knives if you're trying to kill Caesar, or doves if you're trying to keep Caesar alive. If you're an opportunist, you're trying to switch the winning side at the last moment. So you're going around and doing that. At the other time, you're playing cards out either in front of yourself or to other people. And the reason that you're playing these cards out in front of yourself is that they're face down. And if you have the majority of the cards of a certain faction, that's what side you're currently on. So if I am currently a liberator because I have Mosley the knives or whatever symbol it is for the liberator, compared to being a loyalist who has a different symbol. But that can change. So like maybe you started as a liberator, but I keep playing loyalist cards on in your tableau in front of you, face down. So you might not even know that you're a loyalist, but you might be a loyalist. And eventually those will get turned over throughout the game, or some of them will, which has new things that occur. It's just a really cool social deduction game. The way you win the game is, as I told you, if there's at least 23 knives on the top of the stairs at the end of the game, then the person with the liberator that helped the most, or the strongest liberator, will win. If there's less than 23 knives, the strongest loyalist will win. Or if you can switch that at the very end of the game, then the opportunists win. And they win as a team. So it's really cool. I've never played one. The closest I've played is Good Cop, Bad Cop, where you have like factions that can switch, but this one's a little deeper than Good Cop, Bad Cop. Good Cop, Bad Cop's a little bit more, which I still like. It's in my collection, but it's a little bit more chaotic and luck-based. And this one has a bit more strategy to it, a little bit more meat on the bones. I don't know if this will stay, but I was really entertained by my first play of it, and I would definitely play it again. For sure, it's in my top 100. We'll see if it stays on the list or not over time, if I play it more, if I don't play it more, how it kind of... I've just recently played it, so how will it change over time? Who knows? But that is currently my number 77, 23 Knives. Its overall stats is a 7.2 out of just 170 ratings on BGG. And it's currently ranked 8,619 on BGG, but it is my number 77, 23 Knives. Okay. Number 76 is a small box game, and it is Hooky. Designed by James Miller, and Rio Grande Games is the publisher, along with friends of Asima, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So this game is a deduction game, not a social deduction game, just a straight up logic deduction game. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get dealt cards like these that have letters on them and names of kids, and these are kids that you know, because you were dealt them, are not playing hooky, kind of like Clue. If you've played Clue, you get dealt cards, you know those aren't the murder weapons or rooms or people or whatever. So you get that starting thing. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go on your turn, you'll ask another player a 5-letter word, kind of like Wordle. So if my word is let's see here, heart was my word that I said. My opponent will look at, and I'll ask a specific player. So let's say I ask Lauren if she had, I'll say Lauren heart. Then she'll look at her cards and she'll tell me how many of those letters she has. So she might say 2. That means she has 2 of any of those 5 letters in heart in her hand. So I know 2 of those letters cannot be the kids that are playing hooky. By the end of the game, you'll have this scoring chart here. You're trying to figure out which 3 kids are playing hooky. That means they're the 3 letters that aren't in the game. You set those aside at the beginning of the game. And you're also trying to find the letters that your opponents have. And you'll get points for all of that. This game, one, it looks very kind of childish with that, and as I just showed you, the card art, but it is so thinky. This is definitely not a game for kids. This is a hard deduction game. It's very thinky, and it's really good. It's a little word game, kind of, but it's more deduction, and it's solid, man. It's just a solid game. The other thing that I like about this game is, well, this is the sad part of the game, is that James Miller, the designer, died, I believe, right before this was published. And he had this charity, what the game is based off of is this Friends of Acima, which is like education for kids. I believe it's education, yeah, for kids that need help in the slums of Mumbai in India. So he... or the publisher Rio Grande Games, and I don't know if this was James's request or not, but after he died, they donated a good chunk of the money to Friends of Acima, which is awesome. That's just a really good cause for it to be put to, and even though it goes against the theme of playing hooky in school, skipping school, but we're trying to get, they try to get money for these kids that can use a little bit of a better education. So great cause, makes me like the game even a little bit better because of that. But on top of that, it's just a solid, solid deduction game. If you like Clue, this is a much, much, much better game. The stats for hooky is a 7.4 rating out of 634 people that rated the game. It's currently ranked 3,664 on BGG, and it is my number 76. Did I get that right? 76. So just beating out hooky, in at number 75 is another logic deduction game, and this is The Search for Planet X. It's by Ben Rossett and Matthew O'Malley, published by Renegade Games and Foxtrot Games. So why did this deduction game slightly be out hooky? This one's even more deep, in my opinion. This one's even more of a brain burner. I don't think I've ever won The Search of Planet X. I've played it multiplayer. I have played it solo, which has a great, great, great solo game to it. It also has an app for it, which I don't love app in games, but this one just kind of helps you facilitate it, so you don't need to have like, it just helps you, yeah, it like runs the game in a way that you, when you're making guesses and getting your logic, you're getting your clues, your logical clues, it's done that way so you can get infinite amounts of, there's like thousands and thousands of different versions of the game that you can play, and then you don't need to look up results like Clue where you are out if you get it wrong. You just get it wrong in this game and keep moving on and try to fix what you got wrong, which is extremely hard to do in this game. But you're taking actions, and as you take an action, you move around the solar system, I guess, and it's in a one-way street mechanism or ratchet mechanism, so you can move, each action will move you X amount of spaces forward, but if you go forward more spaces and someone takes smaller actions that may not be as strong, they'll get multiple turns before it gets back to your turn, which is really cool. Also, the sun is only shining on part of the solar system, so you can only get clues about certain parts of the board, certain sections of the map, and that the sun is facing, so you can't do it where the dark side is. And as you can see, this is kind of what the map will look like. It doesn't have all these symbols on them, but you'll be able to maybe learn about from here to here this turn, because that's where the map is currently, there the sun is. And as you're going, you'll start filling these out though. And what you're trying to do is figure out where planet X is, and that's by deduction of figuring out where all these other things are, like dwarf planets and asteroids and comets. So you're trying to figure out all of this stuff to get your final goal of where is Planet X, and then once you know where Planet X is, like let's say it's in section 3 here, then in section 4 and 2, I also need to know what's in those two, the two adjacent ones to it. This game is so hard. People figure it out much quicker than me, which I'm shocked at because I'm usually pretty good at deduction logic games. And just, I can't win this game. It's so hard for me. Sometimes I have it completely messed up. Sometimes I have it right, but I'm just a little bit slower than other people. So that is Search for Planet X. There's a couple, there's the Search for Lost Species and then the Search for UAEs. Is that what they're called now? Like UFOs, whatever, IAEs, whatever they're called now. So a couple different versions. I have the OG, the Search for Planet X. It's the one that I'm most interested in. So that is it, number 75 for me. And the stats, the reason I'm looking over here is where my computer is. The stats for this one is a 7.9 rating out of 15,000 people rating it. That's a really high rating for a lot of ratings. And it's currently ranked just outside the top 100 on BGG at 110th overall best game on BGG. For me, it's my number 75 best game of all time, The Search for Planet X. Well, I can't talk about my next game too much because it's been a long time since I played it. So I don't remember all the ins and outs of it. I actually remember very little about it. Other than that, I absolutely love this game. It's been at least a decade since I played it. And I just bought it. I just traded for it. So I need to get it played again sometime soon. That is Nations. This big honking box. Man, they don't make boxes like this much anymore. At least they'd be this way instead of this long box like this guy. So Nations, let me figure out who this is by because I don't even know. Nations is designed by Rustin Hackinson, Nina Hackinson, Einar Rosen, and Robert Rosen, and it was published by Lautapliet.fi. So Nations is a civilization, civilization game. I like Nations a bit better than Through the Ages. It plays a little smoother to me. Through the Ages is just a little bit too meaty for me. Nations is not a easy game by any means. It's not a lightweight game. It's got a 3.54 rating on BGG, but it's a little less intense in complexity than Through the Ages is. It plays smoother to me. And what's really cool about this, just like Through the Ages, is that it's all card-based. There is not a board. It's not like you have like a civilization computer game is based over a map. There is no map in this one. This one, you're buying cards to add to your civilization. And then there's war in the game too, but it's all abstracted. You have like a war point track. That is how you do your wars in the game. And if you do get beaten in a war, it doesn't set you back too much, which is nice as well. So it's not like you're just getting utterly destroyed if you lose in a battle. So again, I don't remember enough about the game to talk about it more. Other than that, I really, really, really enjoyed it the 3 or 4 times I played it. And I just wish I could remember more about it. But I will, because I will get this to the table hopefully this year at some point and find out if it stays in my top 100 or not. So that's Nations. So Nations stats are a 7.6 out of 13,000 ratings. It's ranked 268th overall on BGG, so a very well-loved game over the years. It came out in 2013, and I played it I think in 2015 for the first time. It is my number 74, Nations. Let's go back again real quick, because I forgot to say, Hooky was my 74 last year, 76 this year, dropped 2 spots. Search for Planet X was 42 last year, dropped down to 75 this year. Nations was 66 last year, dropped down 74 over my year, one more year added on of not playing it. So coming in at 73 is a new game. And that's because, again, I just played it this winter in December, and that is Tobago or Tobago. This game is a game that I wanted to play. It came out in 2009. I got into the hobby in 2010, and I wanted to play this game as soon as I got into the hobby. And I never did. I never knew anyone that had it. And then it became out of print. It's still out of print, and I believe, and it was expensive and hard to find. And my friend Chris had a copy, and we just played it, and I was so happy because I really enjoyed this game. So what you're doing is you have this map, and you have a Jeep on the map, and on your turn, you're putting a something, a rule down, and it says maybe it cannot be next to any coastal spaces where you're trying to find a treasure. That's what you're trying to do. So there's going to be treasures on the map. And so I might put down a card that says the treasure cannot be in any space that is coastal. So you then mark off every space that isn't coastal. Everyone gets to see it. It's not like you're trying to do a better job solving this logic puzzle than someone else. And then you mark down that you played that card. Eventually, there's going to be enough rules down per treasure that you'll be able to find out exactly which space the treasure is in, and then you're going to try to race your Jeep there before anyone else can get there. And you're also trying to get that play rules to have that treasure appear closest to where your Jeep already is, so you don't need to travel far to get to that treasure, so you can get your Jeep to that treasure before anyone else does. So that's like a really cool aspect of the game that I really liked about it. Then once you find the treasure, you get a bonus for finding the treasure, and then you open up the treasure, and who gets to look at and get what's inside the treasure? It's everyone that played a rule down to help find that treasure. If you find the treasure, you get an extra treasure that's inside of it. And some people might not get anything depending on the order of when you played that rule and all that stuff. And that's the game. You just go around trying to find these treasures by using this deduction logic. That isn't a competitive deduction. It's just an open deduction that narrows the space down. The game's simple, it's lightweight, it goes by pretty fast, about an hour long, and it was everything I hoped it would be over the 15 years of waiting to play this game. Great game for kids, I'd say. It's a great game for adults. It's just a very welcoming game, and it's light and breezy and just a lot of fun. It's very old school in that way. So that is my number 73, Tobago. Let's look at its stats. It's got a 7.1 rating out of 13,000 ratings, currently ranked 707 on BGG, and it's my number 73. Coming in at 72 for me is Space Cadets Dice Duel. So Space Cadets Dice Duel kind of got, within the hobby, overtaken by a game called Captain Sonar. So, but I've never played Captain Sonar, and I really don't have a desire to, because there's something about Space Cadets Dice Duel that I just love. So what this game is that you're gonna be on teams. There's gonna be like 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, however you wanna do it. And what you're doing in the game is there's gonna be a central person that rolls a bunch of these white dice. So they're kind of the control panel person. And they're rolling these white dice over and over again until they get the numbers they want. And each number represents a different station. So like number 1 could be like the person that builds the missiles. Number 2 could be the person that captains the ship and steers your spaceship. Number 3 could be the person that does the jammers. Number 4 could be your shields. So you're giving, once you get like, maybe you want to get it to the person, you roll a 2 or whatever the number is, I don't remember. But let's say a 2 is the captain because you want to start steering your ship. So you keep rolling until you get a 2. As soon as you get a 2, you give it to the captain, then they can start rolling their dice. And they have these unique colored dice that look like this. So each one of these represents a different station that they do. So the captain's dice are the yellow ones, and they have like little arrows. So they'll start planning how they want to move. And once they fill out their 3 spots that they want to move, they'll move their ship, the 3 spots exactly the way that they planned it on their board. When you get close enough to another ship, you yell out, fire! And then you shoot at it based off of if you have your missiles set up, which side of the ship you're gonna hit. Do they have shields blocking it? And the whole time, everyone's just rolling dice, trying to fill out their little mini game they have to play. Like, as the captain, you have to steer, you have to put those arrows out the way you want to go. The weapons guy has to make a little missile that you have to build. And yeah, so you're just constantly rolling dice. We played it where if the dice fell off the table before, when I played it on just like a flat white table, you'd still go. So if the dice fell off the table and rolled across the room, you have to like run and grab that die while everyone else is still rolling. So it just added more chaos to it. The game lasts like 15 minutes long. There's also like gems you're trying to collect that help power up your ship or do other stuff. And you're just trying to, it's a dogfight. You're trying to hit and destroy the other ship by hitting it 3 or 4 times. And that's the game. It's chaos. It's intense. By the end of the game, my back's like sore because I'm so tight rolling these dice and it's just tense, like watching the board. You can play it where someone doesn't even have a station. I think it's in a 4-player game where they're just like the overall captain of the ship, and they just kind of stand up behind everyone and kind of tells everyone what needs to be done. Like they'll tell the white dice player like what number dice needs to be done. They'll tell like the shields guy which side to put the shields on, so they can really focus in on theirs, and they're kind of the one that the uber captain of the ship. So you can play it that way as well, but it has to be teams. It's fun, it's unique. There's not many team games out there like this. And yeah, if you like real-time games, look at Space Cadets Dice Duel. So the stats on this one is it has a 6.7 rating out of 3.1 thousand ratings, and is currently ranked 2,209. The reason I like this over Captain Sonar is Captain Sonar is more just you're writing on a board. And I just like the aspect of the chaos of rolling dice, constantly rolling dice. That's why I don't have a desire to play Captain Sonar. It might be the better game overall, but I like the chaos of rolling dice and having dice flying all over the place. So that's Space Cadets Dice Duel. My number 672. And Space Cadets Dice Duel was number 91 last year, moved up to 72. I really am itching to get this game played again. Coming in at 71, dropping from 58 last year, is a social deduction game. And it's a one played on a board, and it's Feed the Kraken. This is a game you want to play with a lot of people. And what you're doing in this game is you're either like the good guys, I forgot what factions they are, but there's the good guys, the bad guys, or the traitor guys. They're the yellow faction. I don't know what they're called actually, but there's like a yellow faction that isn't good or bad. And what you're trying to do is you have this big ship, and there's this Kraken at the end of the ship, and you're trying to steer the ship. The main goal of the game would be trying to steer the ship into their spots at the end of the board, and you're trying to get them into and they're all labeled for the 3 different factions, and you're trying to get the ship to land in your faction's spot at the end of the board. How do you do it? It's very much in the Secret Hitler style of games where you'll have one person that doles out the roles. There's like a captain and then like some other character, I forgot what they are. One person looks at the cards and decides which card goes in the box, and then the other person looks at the cards that are in the box and picks one, and that's the way the ship's gonna move. There's also, everyone has player power in the game, which is really nice, a little add-on compared to Secret Hitler. The theme is really good. When the game is painted, there's minis in the game of the ship and the Kraken arms and the legs and the head of the Kraken. And when those are painted, like my friend's copy is, it is just awesome looking on the table. It's gonna stop people when it's painted well, and because it just looks so great. It's a really good high player count board game version of a social deduction game. There aren't many board game versions of social deduction games, and then this one can play at high player counts, which is nice because some of the other ones top out at like 5-6 players. This one dropped a bit because our last play wasn't as exciting as I was hoped, but we also played it on the wrong side of the map for less players when we needed the bigger side of the map. So not really fair, but I'll play this game anytime. It's just a blast. That is Feed the Kraken. The stats are for Feed the Kraken. It has a 7.8 rating out of 6,000 ratings and is ranked 422nd overall on BGG. And for me, it is my 71 Feed the Kraken. So that's it. I'll see you next time for numbers 70 through 61, which I'm gonna record right now. So that's it. Peace, stay cool. See you next time.